So a question that I frequently get on my videos is, what are those red lines on your screen? Now the quick answer to this is peak focus threshold. It's a setting within the DJI Go application that allows you to see what's in focus. Now this is very important for some of the newer DJI drones like the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro and the Phantom 4 Advanced, which all have a camera that allow you to set the focus automatically or manually. With some of the older drones like the Phantom 4, the original one, as well as the Phantom 3 series, we have a fixed focus, also known as infinity focus, which I seem to like a little bit better, especially for drone footage. A common problem that new pilots may run into is soft looking footage like this example here. This is definitely not ideal, as you can barely tell what's going on in the actual video. Focusing your camera properly will give you results like this, and after some practice you can make sure that your footage is never blurry and is always as clear as this. For the remainder of this video, I want to go in depth on some of the different ways that we can focus the camera on our drone. Now jumping into the DJI Go application, the first thing I want to discuss is peak focus threshold, as I kind of talked about that earlier, and now I want to wrap that conversation up when we're in the DJI Go application. So the first thing that we need to do to access these settings is click on the three dots in the top right corner, opening our general settings, and from there we need to look no further, as it's pretty much sitting right in the middle of our screen. Now when we click on the actual setting itself, we have four different options. We can choose none, normal, low, and high. Now none obviously will give us no red on the screen. From here it's a little hard to tell what's in focus, as when we look at the actual screen it's too small to tell if it's going to be blurry or if it's going to be sharp and clear. So what I like to do is I usually like to keep mine on high, and the difference between these three settings, low, normal, and high, is basically how strict the camera will be at telling what's in focus or not. So with high it's highly strict, and with low it's really not as strict, and we'll notice that if we switch it over, if we switch it over to low, we'll notice there's a lot more red on the screen compared to high. Now this kind of gets in the way for me. I feel like it's almost annoying. Honestly, I like going with high, as if I see those crisp edges around the different objects in my shot, I know that it's going to be in focus. Next up, let's take a look at three different ways that we can focus the camera on our drone. First, we have autofocus. This pretty much comes turned on by default, and this allows us to click around the screen or tap around the screen and choose what we want to be in focus. It works a lot like your iPhone or your smartphone does. Another thing that we can do is actually set one of these C buttons on the back to center focus our camera. I've set mine as C1, so all I need to do is click that button, and from there it will focus the center of the image. This comes in handy, as it will always make sure that I can just tap that button and my shot is in focus, and pretty much alleviates the need to take my hand off the remote controller and actually tap on the screen. Now the next setting that we have, or the next way that we can focus our camera, is manual focus, which can be turned on by tapping the icon in the top right corner that says AF/MF. So once MF is lit up green, we'll know that we're in manual focus mode, and we'll also know we're in manual focus mode by seeing the slider on the right side. Now with this we can slide up and down and choose the correct focus for our shot, and this is really where peak focus threshold comes in handy, as we can tell what's in focus and what's not in focus. So right now it's totally blurry. We can actually tell that by looking at the screen, but also there's no red around the object, so of course we know that it's out of focus. We can slide along here until we find that perfect focal point, and right here we'll notice that there's a little red around the tree or the little plant, and also around the clock. So again, we are in focus. Now I would say that manual focus mode is not going to be used by most. I feel like those who are more professional or are really looking for that perfect shot might use this, but for me autofocus is perfect, and for most people autofocus will work fine. Now the next mode that we have, which was added in an update, is Afc Mode, also known as Autofocus Continuous Mode. All we need to do is tap back over to AF, click on the three dots, which is the camera settings, or I'm sorry, the three lines with the three dots, these are the camera settings, click on the gear, and then from there, click on Enable Afc Mode. Now the camera on the drone will autofocus itself continuously whenever it notices that it's out of focus, or it notices that we switch up our position. I'm not exactly sure how it works, like the science behind it, but all I know is that it's always going to stay in focus for you, and it definitely saves me all of the time, as I also, after owning this drone for like 6-7 months, I always forget to tap the screen and focus the camera. So again, Afc Mode is probably your best bet. I'm super happy they added this. They probably added it just because a lot of people were complaining about the actual focusing mode. I know that a lot of people are very unhappy with this, and I actually myself hope that with the next wave of drones, like maybe the Mavic 2 or the Phantom 5, they totally get rid of this, as again, it's very, very annoying. So guys, that all wraps up this video on focusing. I made a couple of videos in the past on how to focus the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro, but they were a little bit out of date, so I figured I'd do an update video containing both peak focus threshold and also the AFC or autofocus continuous mode. But guys, anyway, this video is coming to an end. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new around here, as I have been trying to upload daily. Also, leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of the focusing mode on these drones. Do you want them to do away with it? Do you like it? Do you kind of like that freedom of being able to focus your shot, or maybe make it out of focus if you wanted to? Who knows? I've got to say, I'm a little bit annoyed by it. It is kind of annoying even with the AFC mode. I would totally prefer the Phantom 4's or the Phantom 3's version of the fixed focus. I think it works perfectly, especially for drone footage. But guys, anyway, as I said, this video is coming to an end, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.